You weren't dropped on this earth by accident. You were sent, chosen, assigned. You carry an unseen order from the highest power in the universe. That's not poetic. That's purpose. That's power. And if you don't walk like you were sent, you'll crawl like you were forgotten. The man with no mission drifts. The man on a mission dominates. Decide who you are. The world doesn't reward the one who waits. It bows to the one who declares. The moment you act like you're anointed, everything shifts. Doubt dies. Fear evaporates. The fake voices of the weak fade. Because when you step into divine purpose, you speak in actions, not excuses. You build, move, conquer. You stop hoping and start commanding. This is war, and heaven backs the bold. You don't ask for permission when you're sent by God. You demand results. You build discipline with fire. You don't scroll for motivation. You are the motivation. You are the living answer to someone's prayer. And yet you sit, stall, wait, get up, move like your name was written in the blueprints of destiny. If you delay, someone else suffers. Act now. Someone is depending on it. Excuses are poison. Kill them. The world already has enough weak voices explaining why they're stuck. Don't be one of them. Be the one who moves anyway. Storms don't slow missions. They reveal warriors. You're not here to survive. You're here to set fire, to comfort, and rise through resistance. That's what a mission demands. Obey the calling or betray the gift. Choose. Every challenge you face is sacred. It's the proof you're close to something divine. Resistance means you're alive. Friction means you're climbing. And pain? Pain is holy. It chisels cowards into champions. So stop running from it. Face it. Thank it. And use it. Because the ones who endure pain with purpose are the ones who leave legacy, not regret. A divine mission needs no applause. Don't wait to be understood. Be undeniable. You weren't sent to be liked. You were sent to lead. You don't beg for support. You create shock waves. You don't echo noise. You carve new roads. The world doesn't need another talker. It needs fire starters, vision walkers, mission-driven men and women who walk with spiritual urgency. Time is sacred. Every second wasted is a betrayal to the force that sent you. You don't have time to drift. You don't have time to doubt. You've got a kingdom to build, a legacy to forge, and a soul to awaken. That's not poetic. That's truth. You were called, appointed, and assigned. Act like it. Live like it. The clock is ticking and heaven is watching. The enemy is not out there. It's within. It's your doubt, your delay, your hesitation. Kill them before they kill your destiny. You're not weak. You're just waiting for permission you already have. Move, speak, build, break, rise. Tear the chains off your mind. Act like the divine is behind you, because it is. Faith without action is failure. Don't fail your calling. And when they ask, who do you think you are? Answer with your work. Answer with your fire. Answer with your mission. Because the ones who act like they're on a mission from God don't explain, they execute. They don't shrink, they shine. They don't pause, they blaze trails. You were sent, so act like it. And never ever stop. You were born with purpose, not randomness. You were not the result of luck, chance, or chaos. You didn't arrive on this earth to merely exist, pay bills, and die. You were sent with precision, designed with intention. There is something stamped on your soul that no one else carries. It is not optional, it is essential. You are not a statistic, you are a strategy. While most people walk around waiting for signs, you must become the sign. While others waste time questioning why they're here, you must act like you already know. Because deep down you do. The whisper in your gut, the fire in your chest, the frustration with average, it's all proof that something bigger is pulling you forward. You are not lost. You are being summoned. The ones who look ordinary on the outside can still carry a divine code on the inside. And once you accept that, everything changes. You don't walk the same. You don't think the same. You stop blending in because you're not here to match the world. You're here to move it. People who walk with purpose don't chase applause. They don't live for approval. They wake up with intention and go to war with comfort. Purpose doesn't wait for the perfect mood. Purpose moves even when it hurts. Because it's not about feeling good, it's about doing what must be done. The world is full of people with talent but no direction, potential but no fire. You weren't made to be one of them. You're not here to dabble. You're here to dominate. There's a gift inside you that demands to be unwrapped by action. Not someday. Now, right now. Because while you hesitate, someone else is out there suffering, waiting for what you were born to deliver. That's the truth most ignore. That your life isn't just for you. You were equipped to impact, created to contribute. If you stay silent, the world stays starving. If you stay still, the vision dies unborn. That's not okay. That's a violation of who you are. There's no such thing as a purposeless life, only distracted ones. The people who say they don't know what they're here for aren't searching hard enough, or they're afraid of what they'll find. Because purpose is demanding. It doesn't let you coast. It pulls you out of mediocrity and into mission. And once you've tasted that, you can't go back. You won't fit in with those who settle. You won't waste your time on things that don't elevate. You'll become ruthless with your time, disciplined in your decisions, and on fire with your focus. You'll say no to comfort because you've said yes to calling. And that yes will become your standard. It will become your signature. The world won't need to be told who you are. They'll see it in how you move, how you speak, how you refuse to quit. You weren't created to fear the opinions of small minds. You weren't born to be liked. You were born to be used. Used by something higher than you. Used to break chains, build legacies, set new standards. That means you can't afford to waste another second pretending to be confused. You're not confused. You're scared. But fear doesn't get to win. Fear didn't design you. Doubt didn't form you. Insecurity didn't assign your mission. So it has no authority over your actions. Stop giving your power to things that didn't give you life. You have work to do. You have a path to walk that others can't touch. That path is yours alone. And walking it requires the mindset of a warrior, not a worrier. Every minute you spend second-guessing is a minute lost in the battlefield of purpose. You were born with answers locked inside you. And the key isn't more information, it's action, movement, risk, doing the hard things that expose your strength. You can't find purpose in comfort. You find it in the grind, in the obedience to the whisper inside you that says more is required. You will be misunderstood. You will be doubted. You may even be mocked. But none of that matters. You weren't sent to be understood. You were sent to fulfill a divine agenda. And every setback you face is fuel. Every delay is a sharpening. Every heartbreak is holy fire forging your soul for something greater. You may feel alone, but you are not abandoned. The same force that formed the stars formed your spirit. The same breath that spoke galaxies speaks through your intuition. You know this. You've always known this. That's why average irritates you. That's why silence eats at you. That's why you can't stay still for long, because greatness is pounding at your ribs, begging to be let out. Purpose doesn't show up in a lightning strike. It reveals itself in movement. Every action, every step, every decision carved in faith pulls the fog back a little more. And eventually, you'll see it, clearly, unshakably. You'll look back and realize you were never wandering, you were being positioned. But that realization only comes after the commitment, not before. Faith isn't a feeling, it's a decision to walk like you're sent, a decision to rise when others fold, a decision to act like your life matters, because it does, not because of ego, but because of assignment. You are here for a reason. Breathe like it, move like it, speak like it, build like it, and above all, never let the lie of randomness keep you from the truth of your purpose. You were born with fire in your soul and orders in your bones. So live like you were deployed by heaven itself, because you were. If the mission is divine, the belief must be unshakable. You cannot walk with hesitation and expect heaven to move on your behalf. You cannot doubt your steps and expect the ground to rise up beneath you. A mission that comes from something higher demands a belief that cannot be broken by something lower. You are not here to be lukewarm. You are not here to entertain the idea of your calling. You are here to carry it out like your life depends on it, because it does. The moment you commit to a divine mission, the moment you declare, "I am sent," the universe begins to test you, not to break you, but to see if your belief is real. The path gets darker before it gets clearer. The resistance grows before the reward shows. That's how missions work. They refine you in fire. They burn off the parts of you that aren't ready. And if your belief is weak, you'll fold. But if it's unshakable, you'll rise. You can't serve two masters. You can't say you believe and act like you doubt. Your actions are the loudest voice your belief has. You can talk all day about purpose, calling, greatness, but if your behavior is soft, your belief is fake. People on divine missions don't need to be convinced every morning. They don't need motivation. They are motivation. They wake up with certainty, not because the way is easy, but because the calling is non-negotiable. The vision may not be fully visible yet, but they walk like it's already complete. That's belief. That's power. That's what separates those who carry the fire from those who just talk about it. Divine missions are not given to the most talented. They're given to the most committed, the most relentless, the ones who don't flinch when everything shakes, the ones who keep building even when the blueprint isn't finished, the ones who understand that belief is the foundation before the blessing. Doubt is the enemy of divine flow. It slows your steps, clouds your mind, and weakens your voice. When you doubt, you disconnect. When you believe, you align. Divine power does not flow through fear. It flows through faith. And faith doesn't mean you have all the answers. It means you act anyway. You move without proof. You build without certainty. You fight without knowing exactly how long the war will last. Because deep inside, you know something stronger than evidence is holding you up. You don't need the full picture to obey. You don't need everyone to agree before you advance. That's not faith. That's delay in disguise. Belief means walking like the outcome is already done, like the promise is already sealed, like your name is already written in the victory. You stop negotiating with fear. You stop entertaining thoughts that contradict your purpose, and you refuse to be shaken because you've already decided you're all in. There is no room for half-heartedness in a holy mission. You're either committed or you're not. You're either planted or you're drifting. The moment you hesitate, the mission starts slipping through your fingers. This isn't a side project. This is war. This is destiny. And you're not just fighting for you, you're fighting for everyone tied to your obedience. Every time you act in faith, someone else finds freedom. Every time you move forward without seeing the full way, someone else gains courage to do the same. Your belief is bigger than you. It multiplies. It echoes. It changes atmospheres. That's why you can't afford to shrink. That's why you can't afford to second guess. The cost is too high. The world doesn't need more voices full of doubt. It needs warriors who walk in absolute certainty. And that certainty isn't arrogance, it's alignment. You know who sent you, you know what's inside you, so now you act like it. People may not understand your fire. Let them talk, let them doubt. You're not here to be understood, you're here to be unstoppable. Your belief does not require their agreement. Your mission is not up for public vote, and the deeper your calling, the smaller your circle may become. That's not rejection, that's refinement. You don't need crowds. You need clarity. You don't need cheerleaders. You need conviction. Because when the nights get long and the voices get loud, the only thing that will carry you is belief. Not borrowed belief, not surface-level hope, but unshakable, relentless, all-consuming belief that says, I was sent. I will not stop. I will not quit. I will finish what I was called to start. Every obstacle is a test, not of your skill, but of your belief. Will you still build when the results don't show? Will you still speak when no one's listening? Will you still fight when you're tired and overlooked? If the answer is yes, then you are ready. Ready to carry the mission. Ready to walk through fire. Ready to be misunderstood, misjudged, and even mocked, because you've already decided that obedience is greater than comfort, that faith is greater than fear, and that your calling is greater than their opinion. That's how divine missions are fulfilled. Not by the strongest, but by the most consistent. Not by those who feel good every day, but by those who show up anyway. Unshakable belief means you don't quit when the door closes. You knock again. You don't stop when you fail. You learn faster. You don't wait for motivation. You lead with discipline. This belief rewires your brain. It hardens your resolve. It turns your maybe into a must. And suddenly everything starts aligning. Not because life got easier, but because you got anchored, rooted in purpose, grounded in power, And no storm, no voice, no delay can take that from you. You were made for this, built for this, assigned to this, and you will not be denied, not because you're lucky, but because you believe like it's already yours. Excuses are the language of the faithless. They are the sentences spoken by those who have surrendered before they've even started. Every excuse is a declaration of disbelief, a silent agreement with fear, with weakness, with mediocrity. When a man makes an excuse, what he's really saying is, I don't believe enough to try, or worse, I don't believe I was meant to win. Excuses don't protect you. They expose you. They reveal how lightly you take your assignment. They uncover how much power you've given to doubt and how little authority you've claimed over your own life. No one ever fulfilled a divine calling by explaining why they couldn't. The ones who change the world are the ones who look at the same limitations, the same fears, the same fatigue, and move anyway. They understand that belief is proven not when it's easy, but when it's inconvenient. And in those moments, excuses have no place. Excuses are comfortable lies wrapped in reasonable words. They sound smart, they sound mature, but they are poison in disguise. I don't have time is really I don't have commitment. I'm not ready is really I'm too scared. I tried before is really I gave up early. The truth is, every excuse you allow into your mind is a step away from your purpose. Excuses don't need evidence, they just need agreement. And the moment you agree with one, you give it authority to shape your life. It becomes a ceiling, it becomes a chain. And then you start calling that chain reality, when in fact it's just a prison built from your own words. The mission doesn't care how busy you are, it doesn't care how tired you feel. The mission demands your best whether you feel like it or not. And every time you choose excuses over execution, you dishonor the gift inside you. The person who truly believes they were sent with purpose does not speak the language of limits. They speak the language of action. They speak the language of resolve. Their vocabulary is made of words like, now yes, rise, build, move, again, forward. They understand that no excuse will ever deliver results. Results come from responsibility. Growth comes from ownership. And ownership begins the moment you silence your excuses and say, if it's going to happen, it's on me. That shift in mindset is the death of faithlessness and the birth of greatness. Because as long as you're blaming, you're delaying. As long as you're excusing, you're losing. No one is coming to rescue you from the life you refuse to build. That's your job. That's your mission. And it starts with the death of every excuse that has kept you beneath your potential. Excuses are the shield of the spiritually lazy. They give people permission to stay small while sounding profound. But there's nothing profound about quitting. There's nothing wise about hiding. You can be articulate and still be afraid. You can sound right and still be wrong. Excuses may gain sympathy, but they never earn results. They may protect your pride, but they kill your progress. And slowly, if you keep telling them, they start to feel like truth. But they're not. They're lies that keep you comfortable when you should be climbing. They're lies that keep you passive when you should be pursuing. And until you decide that no excuse is more powerful than your purpose, you'll stay stuck talking about a life you were meant to be living. There's no breakthrough for the one who makes excuses for why they can't obey. There's no destiny for the one who chooses delay. The mission doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It responds when you act. And action begins where excuses end. You don't have to feel brave to start, you just have to stop feeding the fear. Excuses are the food of fear. They're what fear uses to stay alive in your system. But when you start starving that fear with action, with commitment, with unapologetic movement, something shifts. You start realizing you don't need perfect conditions to move forward. You just need a reason that matters more than your comfort. And that reason is already in you. It's already speaking. But it can't survive in a mind dominated by excuses. You have to choose to listen to the voice of your calling over the voice of your convenience. That's where power is born. That's where clarity comes. Not by waiting, but by working while others wait. The world is full of people who had potential but were mastered by their excuses. They could have. They should have. They almost did. But they never crossed the line because they spent their lives reasoning with fear instead of rising in faith. And now they live with regrets disguised as wisdom. You don't want that. You can't afford that. You were born with too much power to live like your life is optional. You were sent with a message too strong to be buried under reasons. This is not the time to explain why you can't. This is the time to decide that you must. Not for applause, or not for validation, but because you were assigned something that excuses will never complete. Your calling doesn't care about your comfort. It demands sacrifice. It demands discipline. And it demands a decision. A full, all-in decision to shut your mouth to excuses and open your life to execution. The world won't wait. Destiny won't pause. The ones who make it, who rise, who fulfill what they were sent to do, are the ones who look in the mirror and say, it ends with me. No more stories, no more delay. I move now. Because at the end of the day, your excuses won't build your dream. Your actions will. Your belief will. Your commitment will. And if you truly believe you've been sent, then you know the mission is too important to let the language of the faithless be spoken one more day. Act relentlessly. Heaven has no room for the timid. The battlefield of purpose does not honor the hesitant. It does not reward the polite observer. The timid are trampled by time, buried under doubt, forgotten in the shadows of hesitation. But the relentless, those who act with fire in their bones and steel in their stride, those are the ones who shift the atmosphere, break the cycles, and rip open the future. There is no sacred reward for those who play it safe. Playing small doesn't protect you. It condemns you to a life of regret. The timid ask, what if I fail? The relentless declare, I will not stop. That is the difference. That is the mindset of those who heaven can trust with great assignments. They don't whisper their purpose. They roar it into the earth with action. There is nothing holy about hesitation. Fear wears many masks, overthinking, perfectionism, humility, but underneath it all, it's still fear. And fear has no seat at the table of the bold. This life is a war zone for your destiny, and you don't win wars by tiptoeing. You advance by force. You conquer by faith. You do not wait to feel ready. You move and become ready in the motion. Timidity tells you to gather more advice. Relentlessness tells you to execute now and adjust as you go. Timidity keeps you planning your next move forever. Relentlessness has already moved 5 times while you were stuck. You don't need another plan. You need to act like you're being watched by heaven because you are. You've already been equipped. You've already been approved. Now move like it. Timid hearts fantasize. Relentless ones build. The timid wait for signs. The relentless are the sign. Timid people call it patience when it's really paralysis. They hide behind false wisdom while their calling withers in delay. But heaven does not send assignments to be studied forever. They are meant to be carried out with urgency, with discipline, with sweat. Every minute spent in timidity is a minute lost in obedience. And obedience is the only language heaven responds to. Not feelings, not intentions. Obedience. The relentless understand this. They don't ask if it's easy, they ask if it's necessary. And when the answer is yes, they don't negotiate, they move. Because they've decided that purpose is not optional. Relentless action is not a personality trait, it's a spiritual mandate. This world does not need more careful people. It needs committed ones, people who burn the bridge behind them and say, there's no way back, I'm all in. People who build with blood in their hands and conviction in their eyes. People who understand that comfort is a liar and hesitation is a thief. The timid want everything to be guaranteed before they act. But the relentless know the guarantee is in the act. They know that clarity comes after commitment. They do not shrink in storms, they rise in them. And when they fall, they rise again. The timid fall and call it a sign to stop. The relentless fall and call it training. You will not outthink your way into greatness. You will only outwork it. Heaven doesn't need another thinker, it needs a doer. One who acts like every step is sacred because it is. The ones who fulfill divine missions are not the ones with perfect conditions. They are the ones with unstoppable resolve. The ones who act when others pause. The ones who build when others blame. The ones who run while others rest. Their vision burns too deep to be silenced by fear. Their purpose screams too loud to be delayed by emotion. They know the cost of timidity is too high. Entire futures are waiting on your yes. Entire legacies are tied to your actions. You cannot afford to play it safe. You were not designed to live on pause. You were not formed to live quiet. You were shaped for war, for fire, for impact. That means you must act like your every move carries weight, because it does. You don't need permission to move. You don't need consensus to begin. You need courage. And courage is not the absence of fear. It's the refusal to obey it. The relentless feel fear, but they walk anyway. They're not superheroes. They're servants who decided that fear would not be their master. And in that decision, they became dangerous to darkness. The timid entertain fear's suggestions. The relentless shut fear down with motion. Heaven backs the one who refuses to sit still while people suffer, while time passes, while opportunities decay. Relentlessness is not hype, it's holy. It's the fire in the bones of the called. It's the electricity in the hands of those who build under pressure. And it's the mindset that says, no matter what comes, I will not stop. Those who act relentlessly don't need everything to make sense. They don't wait for applause. They don't measure themselves by the results of others. Their standard is obedience. Their fuel is purpose. Their target is impact. They are not distracted by detours. They are too locked in to be lured away. And when the weight gets heavy, they don't drop it. They carry it harder, because they know what's at stake. The timid want to be rescued. The relentless want to be responsible. The timid want miracles without movement. The relentless are the miracle in motion. You were not put here to hope someone else does it. You were sent to do it yourself. With your breath, with your hands, with your scars. Heaven has no use for hesitation, only action. The kingdom does not expand by people who mean well. It expands through the hands of the relentless. And you have been chosen to be one of them. You do not need to feel strong. You need to move like you know you were chosen. The timid will doubt you. The critics will mock you. The weak will try to shame you. Let them. You don't answer to them. You answer to the fire inside you that refuses to die. You answer to the assignment that haunts you when you sleep. You answer to the one who sent you. So act relentlessly. Move like it's divine. Build like it's eternal. Show up like heaven's counting on you. Because it is. People on a mission don't wait. They command time. They don't watch the clock, they drive it. They don't ask if the moment is right. They declare the moment theirs. When you're truly on a mission, time stops being your master and becomes your servant. You stop living in reaction and start living in domination. Every second becomes a weapon. Every minute becomes fuel. And every hour becomes proof that purpose is alive in your bones. People who command time don't waste energy explaining their urgency. They don't apologize for their pace. They move with intensity because they know delay is disobedience in disguise. You were not sent here to wait for permission. You were not sent here to ask if now is okay. You were sent here to move and make the moment submit to your mission. Time is the most ruthless currency on earth. It only flows in one direction, and it never refunds. The timid let it leak. The distracted let it evaporate. But the focused, the mission-driven, they invest it with surgical precision. They don't let feelings vote on their calendar. They don't waste energy trying to find the perfect schedule. They command time. They wake up before the world starts talking. They act before anyone else is even thinking. They don't binge sleep, binge content, or binge comfort. They binge on results. Every moment is calculated. Every move is mapped. Not because they're obsessed with control, but because they're possessed by conviction. And when conviction owns you, time obeys you. The average person watches time like a prisoner. The person on a mission treats time like a soldier. Every day is an assignment. Every hour is a battlefield. Every minute is a sword. And if you don't swing it, you lose it. The people who rise, the ones who shift history, the ones who walk in legacy, they don't negotiate with the clock. They impose their mission on it. While others are finding balance, they are building legacy. While others are thinking it through, they are taking ground. Their urgency is holy. Their energy is focused. Their actions are non-negotiable. They live as if time is short, because it is, and they don't let the clock kill their calling. The ones who don't understand their mission waste their life managing time instead of multiplying it. They treat time like it's something to escape instead of something to command. But mission-driven people are different. They expand time through discipline. They multiply time through clarity. They gain hours by destroying distractions. They don't give energy to gossip, to drama, to pointless detours. They're too locked in, too focused, too assigned. Time is their territory. They don't chase weekends. They don't live for vacations. They're not trying to escape their mission. They're trying to fulfill it. That means the day isn't something they survive. It's something they conquer. People on a mission don't fear time running out. They fear not running hard enough. They don't count days. They make days count. You'll never hear them say, "I'll get to it eventually." Eventually is the word of the aimless. It is the anthem of the uncertain. The mission has no room for someday. It only responds to now. And those who truly carry it don't let seconds slip into someday. They crush procrastination like it's an enemy, because it is. Procrastination is not harmless. It's spiritual theft. Every time you delay what you're supposed to do, you rob the world of the gift you were born to deliver. Every delay is a decision. Every hesitation is a cost. And the people on a mission refuse to pay that price. People who command time don't look busy. They look built different, built deliberate. They are not moving just to move. They are executing with extreme intent. They don't multitask. They prioritize. They don't fill calendars. They fill destinies. Their lives are streamlined like weapons, sleek, sharp, and always pointed toward purpose. And while the world says, "There's still time," they say, "There's only time if I take it." That's what separates them. They don't live in someday. They don't talk in maybe. Or they don't breathe in delay. They operate in now, in urgency, in obedience, because they understand that heaven moves when they do. You can tell who's on a mission by how they treat their time. Watch how they show up. Watch what they say no to. Watch how they plan, how they move, how they push. They aren't rushed. They're driven. And it's not anxiety, it's assignment, it's not stress, it's sacred pressure. The weight of knowing they were sent with something too important to waste. The weight of knowing that someone's breakthrough is tied to their focus. That someone's future is attached to their follow-through. That time is not a luxury, it's a weapon, and it must be wielded well. The mission doesn't wait. It demands, it commands, and so must you. There's no such thing as not enough time for the focused. There's only too many distractions. Kill the noise. Lock in. Show up early. Stay late. Act like every day is borrowed from eternity because it is. Stop watching the clock. Become the reason others watch you. Let your discipline disrupt the lazy. Let your urgency offend the passive. Let your commitment expose their excuses, because you're not like them. You're not wandering, you're working, you're not coasting, you're called. You were not born to manage time like a clerk. You were born to command it like a general. There are only two types of people, those who wait for time and those who take it. The mission doesn't honor waiting, it honors winning. And to win, you must own your hours, master your moments, and lead your life like the future depends on it. Because it does. There is no later. There is no soon. There is only now. Now is holy. Now is heavy. Now is where history is made. So stop waiting for the moment to be right. You are the moment. Move like it, act like it, command time, and let the world adjust to you. Every obstacle is a test, not a wall. It is not there to stop you. It is there to see what you're made of. Life doesn't throw blocks to break the mission. It throws them to build the messenger. The weak see the wall and turn back. The ordinary feel the resistance and slow down. But the one who knows they are on divine assignment doesn't stop. They lean in. They press harder. Because the obstacle is not punishment, it's preparation. It's heaven's way of asking, how bad do you want this? Will you quit because the road got rough? Or will you rise because the pressure revealed the fire inside you? The obstacle is the gatekeeper to the next level. It's not there to hold you out, it's there to call you up. You don't grow in the absence of resistance. Muscles are built under tension. Diamonds are made under pressure. And purpose is forged through struggle. When an obstacle shows up, it is not the end of the story. It is the start of the reveal. It's the moment where your mindset is exposed. Will you act like a victim or rise like a vessel? Will you complain or conquer? Too many people pray for progress but run from pressure. But the mission requires more than hope. It requires grit. It requires a backbone that doesn't bend every time things don't go smooth. Obstacles are the language of growth. They speak loud. They ask, are you disciplined? Are you focused? Are you real? And your answer is not in your words, it's in your action. The test is not in how big the obstacle is, it's in how you respond. If you shrink, if you stall, if you panic, then the obstacle is already won. But if you breathe deep, lock your jaw and press forward, then you turn the obstacle into a stepping stone. You move from excuse to execution. Because here's the truth. Most people don't fail because of obstacles. They fail because of interpretation. They think it's a sign to stop when it's really a signal to grow. They think the delay means denial when it really means not like this, go deeper. You have to stop interpreting friction as failure. It's not failure, it's fire. Fire that refines, fire that tests, fire that proves if what you said about your mission was real or just noise. When the obstacle appears, the untrained mind looks for escape. The trained mind looks for strategy. The faithful mind looks for the lesson. Because every test carries treasure if you're willing to dig. The ones who make it are not the ones who never fall. They're the ones who get up so many times the obstacle gets tired. The wall doesn't win when you hit it. It wins when you believe it's a wall. The moment you decide to go through, around, over, or under, the wall becomes a doorway. But that decision only comes from a mindset that refuses to be defined by resistance. You don't need the obstacle to move. You need your perspective to shift. Purpose is not proven in comfort, it's proven in conflict. Anyone can speak big in perfect weather. The question is, what do you do in the storm? What do you say when it hurts? What do you believe when it breaks? That's where the test becomes real. And that's why the obstacle exists. Not to stop you, but to reveal you. To show you that what's in you is greater than what's against you. To prove to yourself that your power is not theory, it's truth. And truth needs pressure to be confirmed. You don't conquer by avoiding trials. You conquer by dominating them, by looking them in the face and saying, you won't be the reason I stop. You'll be the reason I rise. Every obstacle comes with a mirror. It shows you your level of belief, your level of hunger, your level of commitment. It asks, are you serious or are you just motivated when it's easy? The ones who rise above don't wait for the struggle to end. They work through it. They refuse to romanticize the idea of purpose without embracing the weight that comes with it. They move while others murmur. They push while others pause. Because they understand that the test isn't asking for excuses, it's demanding endurance. You don't get to walk in power without walking through pressure. You don't get the breakthrough without the burden. It comes together. It always has. You are not promised an easy path. You are promised victory if you endure. The obstacle is simply asking, will you? Will you persist when it's hard? Will you execute when it's unclear? Will you trust when it hurts? The ones who change the world do not have smoother paths. They have stronger spirits. And that spirit is not built in applause, it's built in adversity. The obstacle is not the enemy, it's the invitation. It's asking you to dig deeper, think smarter, move cleaner, love harder, believe bolder. Every level you want is on the other side of a test. Every breakthrough you're praying for is hiding behind a wall you must run through. So the next time resistance shows up, don't cower, don't stall, don't second guess, stand up, lock in, speak to it. Remind the obstacle that you are not ordinary. You are not temporary, you are not playing games, you were sent. And the one who is sent does not back down. They break through, they adapt, they grow, they rise. Because every obstacle is not a wall, it's a test. And you weren't built to fail, you were built to pass. Fulfill the calling or betray the gift. There is no middle ground. There is no neutral position. You were not placed here by chance. You were born with something burning in your soul, something heaven-formed and time-sensitive. To ignore it is not just a delay, it's a betrayal. The calling is sacred. It carries weight. It demands action. You can either rise to meet it or sink beneath the weight of wasted potential. But understand this, every day you delay, the calling dims in the eyes of the world, not because it's lost power, but because you refuse to shine. And when you betray the gift, you're not just stealing from yourself, you're robbing those who were assigned to your obedience. The gift doesn't come with guarantees. It comes with responsibility. You weren't given it to flaunt, to admire, or to hoard. You were given it to use, to serve, to break chains, to shift atmospheres, to ignite fire in others. And every time you stay silent when you were meant to speak, every time you shrink when you were meant to stand, every time you hesitate when you were meant to move, you are betraying the very thing that makes you powerful. Your calling is not convenient, it's costly. And the ones who fulfill it are the ones who pay the price without complaint. They don't ask for comfort, they ask for clarity. And when they hear it, they move, because they know the cost of delay is too high to afford. To fulfill the calling means to die to excuses. It means to bury your distractions. It means to shut down the voice that says maybe later and amplify the voice that says do it now. The calling is a fire, and fire doesn't wait. It consumes. It burns until it's answered. It will not leave you alone until you either step into it or silence it forever. That's the danger of betrayal. It numbs the gift. Every time you ignore the urge to act, the fire gets quieter. And one day you'll wake up and wonder where it went. It didn't disappear, you just smothered it with inaction. But for those who rise, who honor the fire, who say yes even when it hurts, those are the ones the world remembers. Not because they were perfect, but because they were obedient. You don't get to borrow your calling. It belongs to you and you alone. No one else can fulfill it. No one else can carry what was carved for your hands. That means your choice matters. That means every moment you spend doubting, someone else spends waiting, waiting for you to speak, waiting for you to build, waiting for you to show up with the solution only you were assigned to bring. You were not sent here to blend in. You were not created to be casual. You were designed to be disruptive, to walk in the room and shift the temperature, to carry something so real that it awakens dead things in others. But none of that happens if you keep betraying the gift with small living. The gift was not meant to make you comfortable. It was meant to make you dangerous, to the status quo, to mediocrity, to every voice that told you you'd never make it. It was meant to stretch you, to test you, to take you to the edge and see if you'll jump. Not in fear, but in faith. Faith that the one who gave you the gift will catch you if you fall or build wings on the way down. You don't get to wait for certainty. You only get to choose courage. And courage looks like moving when you're unsure. It looks like trusting the voice inside you more than the noise around you. Because that voice knows the weight of your calling. It knows what's at stake. And it won't stop speaking until you move. Every day you wake up, you are standing on a battlefield between fulfillment and betrayal. You can choose to obey the voice that says you were born for more, or bow to the one that says just stay safe. One leads to purpose, the other leads to decay. One ends in impact, the other in regret. You will never be at peace until you choose, because the gift doesn't make peace with passivity. It cries out to be fulfilled. It won't be silenced by comfort. It won't be buried by distraction. It will haunt you in your quiet moments. It will echo in your dreams. It will whisper in your soul until you answer. Because fulfillment is not a luxury, it's a requirement. And betrayal is not just a failure, it's a forfeiture of divine trust. You don't owe the world perfection, but you do owe it obedience. You owe it execution. You owe it the full weight of your yes. The world doesn't need another talented spectator. It needs a faithful executor. Someone who doesn't just talk about greatness, but lives it. Who wakes up with urgency. Who moves with conviction. Who treats time like it's holy and purpose like it's war. Because that's what it is. It's war against every lie that says you're not ready. It's war against every fear that says you'll fail. It's war against every delay that says later is fine. It's not. Later is betrayal. Now is fulfillment. And the clock is not slowing down for you to make up your mind. You are here on purpose. You were formed with fire. You are gifted with something eternal. And heaven is watching to see what you do with it. The question is not, are you able? The question is, will you honor it? Will you fulfill the calling or betray the gift? That's the choice. That's the line. And your actions, not your feelings, will reveal which side you've chosen. So decide now. Decide every morning, decide with every breath, because the gift demands it. And the future is waiting. So now the choice is in your hands. Not tomorrow, not someday, but right now. You either fulfill the calling or betray the gift. There is no halfway, no neutral, no in-between. You were not placed here to simply exist. You were sent to execute, sent to rise, sent to carry something heaven assigned to you and no one else. The weight you feel, that's purpose. The tension in your chest, that's destiny pressing in. And every excuse you've entertained up to this moment dies the second you decide to move. So move. Decide that you will not leave this earth with your gift unspent. Decide that comfort will no longer rule over your calling. Decide that fear will not silence what heaven placed inside you. This is your time. This is your test. This is your line in the sand. Step over it. Fulfill the calling. And let the world feel what it means when one person decides to honor the gift completely